Detroit native Maya D. Jones isn't letting her age stop her from living out her dreams of being a mayor of her hometown. Here with Lady Lena, the voice of Wayne State for the very first time, Maya D. Jones. What's going on, Maya?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm so glad that you actually stopped by, because you're so busy now. You're so famous now.
No, I really am busy. So this really just like blew up, and I didn't think it was going to blow up like this.
Quick.
I was just trying to be, mayor of Detroit, not, known worldwide. But it's great. So much, publicity for the campaign.
It's so awesome because I actually looked on the New York Times, Huffington Post. Shout out to Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Yes.
You've been everywhere.
Listen,
Maya.
every day, like I get like a screenshot of a different article, a different place that I'm on. So it's very God is good.
And it's cool because God is good. And it's so cool because you're retweeting. I see you trying to keep up with all the articles. So you're back and forth trying to keep up overnight. I'm watching you at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to keep up with those.
So listen, the thing is me and somebody else who's managing my Twitter account because it's too much for one person.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Maya, that's awesome. So 22 years old. Right now you should be thinking of your sorority, Delta. Shout out to the Deltas.
Thank you.
You should be thinking of fun parties and graduating. And right now you are trying to run for the mayor of Detroit. What age do you want to take such a big jump so soon?
Because it's like we can't sit around and wait. So my mindset was every day one of us is always dying. Like you never know when it's your turn to go because so much stuff is happening every single day. And I don't like to take life for granted to say, oh, I'm going to live another day. I got time because you really don't know if you have time or not. So I actually interned in Congress this summer under Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, and me and my cohort, we always spoke about the police brutality that was going on and how can we actually make a difference. And we seen that we were already doing the background work, we were already doing, drafting policies and letters and things on the Hill and in our communities, but nobody ever ran for office, and you only have to be 18, a registered citizen, and registered to vote to actually run for office for mayor. And a lot of other positions, you only have to be 18 too. So it's like, why don't we have representation at the younger ages? And we have so many people who are Gen X or baby boomers who are holding offices. And it's the 21st century, and we have new technology, everything's being innovative, and yet we have no representation.
It's so amazing because actually I live on campus, and I was able to watch students protest.
Exactly.
And they're into politics. These are 18-year-old babies
Exactly.
protesting.
And they're the ones who are actually writing policies for these Congress people.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about your background. You're here. You're from Detroit.
Yes.
You're from Detroit.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Okay. So talk about where you grew up. What street you're from, high school. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So if people read the Huffington Post article I made about a year ago for a scholarship and everything else that I've been doing, I had a really complicated background. So we literally lived everywhere in Detroit. So 7 Mile, Van Dyke, I lived on Gratiot and Harper, I lived on the west side, the number streets, Vinewood, all those places I've lived, literally. So I probably know a little bit about every single place in Detroit.
So you're good on any block.
Any block, yes. So that's why I was really so passionate about, running for mayor because you get to affect the whole city, not just one district. You're able to see the entire city of Detroit. Because I live in every single area, I know the different hardships that each area is facing, and everything changes every day. But that's where you're going to talk to the citizen and say, how can I help you? How can we together make our city what it once was and what it could be?
Okay, well, Maya, you had a pretty different background from your average 22-year-old. That's my point of view. You're a sexual assault survivor. And, I've been through it too, so I definitely, I feel like we're here. Your mother was diagnosed with the bipolar disorder, and later you were diagnosed as well. Is that true?
Yes. So one thing I really like to explain to people is it took me a while to really do research on this too, because when I was diagnosed, it was like, I'm not bipolar because, on TV you see people, they'll compare it to schizophrenia, and they are really ignorant in terms of not knowing what it really means to have bipolar, and that's when you fall into a deep depression, and it's chronic depression to where it's over a period of time, right? So my mother was actually pregnant with my, not my youngest brother, but my second to youngest brother, and her husband passed away. So while she was pregnant, her husband passed away suddenly, and it caused her, she's already pregnant, so she always had her mood swings as pregnant people do, and it caused her to be depressed, basically.
Okay.
And when I was a child, I was in 5th grade, I didn't understand what was going on.
Okay.
So as time, I got older, I had to reflect on my past and where I've been through because of the scholarship essay that I wrote. And I was like, you know what? This was really a lot of stuff that the average person does not go through. Like, how did I get through this? But soon, like when I was in high school, I found out who my real biological father was, and I had to move with him and with my new sisters. You know how sisters are, so, especially if you don't know them. So it was real difficult, but I love them to all my heart, my sisters. But when when they first met me, we didn't really get along. So that caused me to have to deal with a new family, being in high school, puberty, all that kind of stuff going on. Yeah, it was really rough, but I was able to get through it. I kept busy. My education is what kept me going. I was a dancer, so I danced at Cass. And I had
Shout out to Cass Tech.
Yes, Cass Tech. So I had like my own kind of little support system within myself to keep me busy. I did volunteer work with Bill Dawn. I just did stuff to keep me busy all the time so I didn't have to be at home. And that's how I really survived everything, my education.
Okay. Well, Maya, speaking of education, you are still in college and you still have time to finish up. What is your major in college right now?
So I study business management in the Eli Bro College of Business. And I also study Arabic and African American and African Studies.
God.
Yes.
You tired?
Listen.
So I just wanted to say, how are you balancing college life and running for mayor of Detroit? Now, this is my thing. How are the students and professors treating you on campus? Are they looking at you funny like they're going?
Okay,
like,
so I've always been active on campus. So I did a little bit of everything, and people always say, "How did you have time to do all this stuff?" I really don't know, but I did it. You go to college, you have to take advantage of every single thing that happens when you're in school. But now, people, they've been knowing who Maya was, but now it's like, oh, they go Mayor Maya.
So are you popular on campus? Like, do they recognize you when you're walking, like in class? Are they giving you like an A because, yeah, that's amazing?
Oh no, I gotta work for my grades. Some of my professors,
good cover of my no.
Some of my professors actually. I think some of them do know, some of them don't, but some of the ones who do know will ask me, "Oh, I heard you're running for mayor. Let me know how I can help you," because I am a management major. And the best thing about being a management major, what people don't realize, is when you're the mayor or when you're in any position, it's not up to you to know the answer to everything. You have a vision and you have a team around you to help you build that vision to par.
That's awesome.
So being able to have the background to where I know how to select people, how to pinpoint certain traits, and how to bring the team together and help them cooperate, handle conflict. That's what's best about my major with this position of running for mayor, because I'm able to know who to pick and know what to look for when I look for people to help me bring the vision out for Detroit.
Okay, Maya. So, I'm going to slide you my resume after this. All right. So, what do you believe a role is for mayor of Detroit? What do you think that role holds for a mayor?
So besides what's written down in the books, the mayor presides over city council, help them, do all their good stuff. But the role of the mayor is really to have a vision for the people of Detroit. It's to be able to be the bridge between the people of Detroit and then the city council and everybody else who is in public office in Detroit. So you're that bridge between the people. You make sure you're hearing out what the people are saying. You make sure you're bringing about what they want to see. And that's for the entire city. Making sure that you're bringing in businesses, making sure people know who Detroit is and what Detroit is about.
Okay. So what is the most pressing issue you see right now, right at this very moment for the city of Detroit? You can just give me one or you can give me two. I know it's a lot. But
it is. But the one thing that I'll say that's very, that covers a lot of things is the actual neighborhoods in Detroit are not being looked after. Mm-hmm. So you can go downtown and you see how beautiful downtown is right now. Mm-hmm. But then you'll go 5 miles over a different direction and the neighborhoods are completely abandoned. Mm-hmm. And no one's there to take care of it. No one's living there. And it's not safe for people. And you want people to inhabit downtown, but can people inhabit these neighborhoods too? Mm-hmm. Can we all build up the neighborhoods and making sure that we're taking care of these areas and not just a select area in Detroit? And that's one of the most pressing issues I see in Detroit, because what they ran up for last year was every neighborhood has a future. Mm-hmm. But it's been 4 years, and what have we done in these 4 years for the neighborhoods?
Okay. Now, what makes you different from other candidates running for this same position? Because you're up there with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old, people. What makes you so different? You're 22.
From the past years? Or
from the past, from the present.
I don't really know too many people who's running right now. I know it was me and one other person, but I don't remember. I don't know if they had a big announcement. But from the past few mayors, I'm actually from Detroit. Mm-hmm. I've actually grew up here and I've lived here. I didn't move here to run for office. I've lived here my entire life.
So you're from
here. I'm from here. I know what Detroit is about. I don't have to sit here and figure out, how can I help these people who I never grew up around? Okay. Because I'm from a different area. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what issue do you believe is not getting enough attention? So, other than the neighborhoods, is there an issue that you feel is not getting enough attention? Like, this push to the side, and not other than the neighborhoods, they're not paying attention to?
Yes, mental health.
Okay.
That's a really big thing in Detroit, especially because we have opioid abuse here. So people who have opioid abuse have mental illnesses, and like people cure it by throwing people in jail. Where you have other neighborhoods in the suburbans or other areas that's not, urban areas, they go to counseling, they go to rehab, but people here, they don't, and we have a high suicide rate. So my cousin actually committed suicide the day before election last year.
Oh my God.
And I tell people all the time, like, you have to make sure your mental health is good. And glory to God, I was able to get through things when I was younger, but everyone doesn't have that strength, and we need our people surrounding us to help us through it, to let us know that I understand you, I feel you, and I see you, and I'm here to help you. So we don't really have that, and it's not getting talked about enough because it's a stigma, and it shouldn't be a stigma. It should be normal because we all lose our houses, we lose our cars, we were in a recession, and people get sad. We're human beings, so make sure we're continuing to treat each other as human beings and not as these perfect people, because no one's perfect at all.
Not at all.
So making sure that we keep in mind that mental health is important.
Yes, it is. Okay, so speaking of losing things, we're losing a lot of people to this Black Lives Matter. And it's a big movement going on. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's been all over the news outlets. How are you going to build the trust back between the police and the community? Because right now, people are scared. They are scared. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes.
It's scary getting pulled over by the police. You don't know what to expect because you're going over social media. And yes, it's far from home, but you don't know if it's going to hit here.
Exactly. So that's a really big topic, and they like to sugarcoat things as though, it's so safe. No, people are literally scared. Like, even when I get pulled over, I'm scared, and I know that my license plate is good, my tags is good. Like, I'm still scared because you never know what's going to happen, and it's because what I learned in school is that we're suffering from PTSD from watching these videos online and seeing what's actually happening. Like, we're not used to that, but in Detroit, some people are used to that, seeing people getting shot every day, seeing people get shot by the police too. But what we really want to do, what we did at Michigan State, was we actually, in terms of lobbying, we lobbied for people, for the police to have to wear body cameras. We lobbied for police to have to do certain reports and do community policing, come out to programming. So at Michigan State, we have, Detroit had a ride-along programs where citizens are able to go and, ride with the police and see what their duties are and see how they protect the neighborhoods. But we need more than that because if you can afford to hire more police officers, you should be able to interact with the people to where we can have community policing programs. We have like neighborhood watch. You know how we used to have those programs?
Remember that from back in the day?
Exactly.
That would be nice to bring that back.
Yeah, neighborhood watch programs, like more of those, and then actually have the police go to different events in the community or host different events where people can feel like, okay, I know Officer Ryan, so I'm going to talk to Officer Ryan because he cool with us. You know what I mean? So having that trust with the police and making sure that people are able to trust the police enough to actually go to them and not feel like, oh, they just pulled me over and put the gun out on me saying what you're doing.
Exactly.
Because I've heard too many stories about that with the Detroit police from my own friends who either go to college. One of my friends was walking home from the store, the corner store, and the police asked him, what you doing? He said, I'm about to go to church. Oh, no, you're not. Put the gun on him. Like, it's crazy.
And it's so funny because compared to the suburb, my brother goes to Ferndale High School. And the whole football team is really cool with the police officers there. The whole community, they're like, oh, they'll pull up to the gas station and like, oh, that's Chief such and such, you know.
Exactly.
So it would be beautiful to get something like that going on.
If we just know the name of our officers, we don't know the name of our officers.
That would be beautiful.
It'd be beautiful. We should all be able to work together.
So speaking of children, education in Detroit is a huge topic right now in the media. They're possibly closing 24 Detroit schools. What are your plans to work with teachers to stop the attack on public schools right now?
So the mayor doesn't really have much control over that. So it's like the school board and the state. So, but what I really want to do is try to focus on, if they're going to close these schools down, what can we do outside of school to help these children have education or access to certain activities? Because everything isn't school. You need some hands-on things too. So recreational centers, programs to keep children busy to where they're not falling prison to the school, to prison pipeline. Things like, we don't have a gymnastics place here to where kids know how to do gymnastics, having a stadium for that, or learning how to swim, just basic things that we don't already have, or we do have it, but it's only like 4 in the entire city.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So having more of these things for children to actually do. A park would be nice.
That would be beautiful.
A simple park.
A simple park. Just give me a swing and a slide, maybe. That's
when I was a kid, we had parks down the street. We could walk down the street. Listen, yes. Yeah, we were able to walk down the street and go to a park. You can't even do that these days.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Maya, I've been looking at your Twitter, and I've been kind of Twitter stalking you. I don't know if you know what that is, Maya, because you all politics now.
I I'm still young. They ain't gonna take the youngest out of me.
So I'm in Twitter stalking you, and I see, your issues with Trump. And this is one of the tweets that you said. You said, leave it to you to ban Muslims, but let the KKK run rampant.
Yes.
And you tweeted that to Donald Trump. I'm assuming that you didn't vote for Donald Trump.
Oh, of course not.
So let's talk about that. How do you feel about this racial tension going on in the United States right now?
So we actually had a rally, I believe it was yesterday, and it was last night. Time just go coming together. But we had a rally at my school about this issue hosted by the Muslim Student Association, and it's like, how I just put it in simple terms as I see this is, if you can separate Christians from, normal white people, then you can separate Muslims from ISIS, because it's the same thing, you know. You don't go around and say, like, oh, every white person is part of the KKK. So how can you go around and say, like, every Muslim is part of ISIS?
Okay.
And how can you ban a certain person or a certain group of people when statistics don't even show that these people are actually from these countries, have done anything to the U.S., yet you have these people who have been shooting up schools, shooting up colleges. And what race were they? Exactly. But you're not banning those people.
Exactly.
What are you doing to them?
Okay.
When you see that these are people who are doing these mass shootings, Mm-hmm. And it's really unfair. And I can go on and on and on about this topic, but, I'm going to keep it simple.
Okay.
Like, don't.
But do you think it's any hope for President Donald Trump right now? Do you think there's any hope for his 4 years? Do you think it's going to be, y'all should see this look on her face. If y'all can see this look, I think she just cut me with a knife. Do you think there's any hope for Donald Trump as the President of the United States? Do you think this is just him just acting crazy right now as a president, just, showing like he's serious? Or do you think there's going to be some change sometime soon? He's going to settle down and get it right?
I don't think he would get it right. He got baptized.
Dang. If he got baptized, Donald Trump wouldn't get it right. Dang, Mike.
Listen, because he,
no, I feel you.
The thing is, like, I'm being so serious when I say this, like, I'm literally scared for my life every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's either he's going to send us to a civil war or a world war, one of the two. Because what he's doing, what they're doing, because he's just a puppet and he's just, being a dictator right now, it's ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you watch the inauguration?
No.
You didn't? I didn't. The 1,000th person I heard.
Why would I watch that?
Okay.
I seen one part. The only part I had seen was when
You said when he was signing those papers, it was supposed to be like in order with the pens, and he was like, adding to his grandkids, playing with them. Like, oh my god.
Wait, I don't know if I seen that, but I seen the one part when what's his wife's name? Melania. When Melania had gave First Lady Michelle that gift, and I see her face.
Did you see her face?
I was like, ooh, okay.
So how Obama was walking out with Michelle and like nice and giving her a kiss on the hand, like reassuring her it's okay, and Trump was like, see.
He just walked the stairs and left her.
All right, so Maya, I think you're doing a great thing though. I think you're doing a great thing running for